Hello and welcome. I am Scrabberlock, and this is City of Heroes on the Homecoming servers or on the Everlasting server. Our character Liberty Lass is level 13. We have 28,000 XP earned, 6,000 needed to go to get until level 14, and we've already won back most of the influence we spent on our dual origin enhancers. Before we get into what will probably be a story arc, or at least he was offering it to me last night when I checked, somebody asked a question in, I think, episode 0 or whatever, where I put up this little box that shows the resistances and stuff. So let me just show you how to get to it. I do want to apologize, and I want to explain that I really didn't expect to do any sort of tutorials because it didn't. I said I'm going to start playing again and I'm going to start recording again, and it didn't occur to me that a bunch of people were going to come in who had never played City of Heroes before and wanted to learn how to play it from watching my videos and I guess other people's videos. And yeah, one of the things you have to realize is my channel has had a very small, very consistent number of subscribers and commenters, and it's mostly been people who were along for the ride for a very long while. And so I guess I kind of assumed that the people who are going to watch are going to be people like Kievar, who has commented on one of these videos, and RB, who has commented on one. They've already seen me play a bunch of City of Heroes, so I didn't think to do any kind of tutorial stuff. There is a bunch of that if you want to go back and watch the old Silver Phoenix videos. They're not really expired in terms of what works because 90% of that still all works. Homecoming hasn't changed that much since 2019, really. But let me show you how you can get this box, right? And that is by clicking the powers button here, right? You see that? And then up here where it says combat attributes, click that. And then you have a bunch of these that you can pull up. And what you do is you right click and you say monitor, and it will then monitor it. And if, like right now, we're monitoring hold protection, if I take that off, it will go away, right? And if I put it back on, it will come back, right? And same thing with the last hit chance, which is, where is it? Here, right? We're monitoring it. I can take it off, or I can put it back on. It will always tack on the thing to the bottom. You can also click on here and move it up or down if you want to move it up or down in the order. I always put defenses at the top, resistances underneath, and hold and last hit chance. And it's the way I did it the very first time that I did it, and so it's just what I'm used to. You can only monitor about 10 things, so if you try to monitor more stuff, the other stuff will just get knocked off the list. And so you can't resize it. You can't make it any bigger than this, I don't think. And I'm not going to try it because I don't want to have to reorganize all this. So anyway, that's how you get to that menu, just so that everybody understands that. I also want to point out, we have a whole bunch of salvage here. There's a lot of different types of salvage, but the stuff that you use to create the invention enhancers is this part, the invention enhancement, the invention salvage. On Homecoming, you get 150 slots. I think that is based on level, so as you level up, I think it might go up. I'm not really sure. There's also a bank vault, and I think if you type vault/vault, I guess it doesn't work. You can go to the bank and click on the bank vault, and in the bank vaults, I can show that. I guess when we get to Talus Island, because I know where the bank is on Talus Island, or I know where the one is on Steel Canyon. I'll show it to you when we go to Steel Canyon next. You can store extra salvage in the bank vault. The problem with that is if you go to craft, the crafting table can only read the stuff in your inventory. So if you have stuff in the bank vault that you could use to craft, you're going to have to know it off the top of your head, because the bank vault stuff doesn't get brought forward into the recipes when you're crafting at the crafting station. So I'll show you how to do all that as we go. So available missions, he's offering 2, and this is again what I was talking about earlier. This is a random one. This is one that's telling us it's going to get us into one of my favorite arcs, the Bonefire arc. This used to be the very first real story arc you could get onto. So if you imagine that this blue wasn't here and we just see this paragraph, you might not know that having a hero presence to stop the gang war in the Hellions hideout is necessarily going to lead you to a story arc, but this one does. So we're going to go to Atlas Park. But guys, before we do that, let's just head, so I don't forget, because otherwise I'll forget. Let's head to Steel Canyon, and because there might be a bank in Alice Park, but I don't remember off the top of my head where it is. So let's go to Steel Canyon South. You want to go to Steel Canyon South. That's at the bottom of the map in Steel Canyon. There's probably a bank here in Skyway City too, but I don't remember where. And I do remember where it is here in Steel Canyon, right? And so it's actually right nearby. It's one of these buildings here, right? Yeah. So this is called the Vault Reserve. And you go in here, and you go to the back of the bank, and you click on the little vault in the right here, and this is where you can store up to 80 more salvage. Right, so if you don't want to keep it on your person, you can store it in there. So one of the things I sometimes do is I'll store the orange salvage in there, so that when I have a recipe that calls for orange salvage, I know to go to the vault first before I try to do any crafting. One cool thing you can do with superhero bases is they do have a vault door you can put in the superhero base and crafting stations and salvage storage, so you can put all of that stuff in the base right next to each other, and that makes it much more convenient to do the crafting. And I think they did it on purpose that way because they wanted bases to be useful, and the bases made crafting and everything a lot more convenient if you're going to do a lot of crafting. If you're only playing one character and you're not going to do that much crafting, it's not that big of a deal. It can just be a bit of a pain to shuttle back and forth between the Vault Reserve and the crafting station. Okay, so we're here, and we're beginning the Bonefire arc. This is going to be a fairly short episode because I do have to leave in a little under half an hour. So we're just doing a mission or two. I had just read the comment about this, how to do the combat attributes, and I definitely wanted to make sure, before I forget to do it, that I show people how to do that. Again, I apologize, I didn't really plan out doing a truly tutorial run through City of Heroes, because again, I've already done that, and I kind of assumed that most of the people subscribed to my channel have already seen it, but I've had a bunch of new subscribers this week, so, and some of you may not have played City of Heroes before, so I want to make sure that that everybody gets what they need. So as with this question about how you put the monitor window up, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and then check back in the next episode or two after you make the post, not the next episode after the post, but after the day you make the post. Check back in a day or two, and I'll try to answer as many questions as I can and show as much as I can. Again, as I explained in the last episode, depending on what you're asking, right? I can't go back and show level 1 stuff with this character, and I can't show you level 40 stuff yet, because we're level 13. So now if you notice, the overhead punch is white. I feel like this second punch, yeah, is supposed to be blue, but for some reason when I use it after the red punch, it doesn't turn blue, which is sort of odd. Maybe I've got to change the sequence here. Let's see what happens if I do red and then white. Uh-oh, this is Marrow Snap. I was sloppy here. I should have realized this is the Marrow Snap mission. This mission was infamous. I'm busy looking at my character special effects. This mission was infamous in the old days because this guy was really hard to beat. He was basically the first real legit boss in the old days that you encountered. There was a bunch of just junk missions before that. You fought lieutenants and stuff. And what happened is, as you saw here, you come into the mission, and the first guy you fight is an orange boss. And if you don't know how to handle bosses, well, a lot of people are coming in here at level 11 or 12, having never fought a COH boss before, trying to solo this mission, and they would just get pounded. And he was right at the beginning of the mission, and sometimes he was like +1 to you. So instead of being an orange boss, he'd be a red boss. And it was just really brutal. Where are these guys' voices coming from? Okay, from inside. It was just a lot of players, including me, died repeatedly to that guy. And so that's why I kind of like, all right, let's maybe overreacted, took a bunch of inspirations, and made sure that I beat him. Because I have many memories of getting my butt kicked by him. Yeah, so for some reason, the default seems to be red, even though I've got blue punches and white punches. My hands stay red all the time. I guess that's the default for energy melee. I'm not really sure on that, but it's a little annoying because I want some blue too. What I may do is go through and change that first one to be blue and see if that has an effect on it. I don't really know. But you can see that's blue, that's white, and then that's supposed to be red, but it's not changing. I don't know why. It's like whichever one you start with, it seems to get stuck on. That's a little buggy. Because it shouldn't be staying with that color. It should be changing to the colors that I put in, right? But for some reason it doesn't. Now that's gonna like annoy me until I figure out what to do about it. And you know, we were talking about in the previous episode, like willpower and whether you pick willpower for one reason or another, guys. Way more important to me than the resistance of willpower is that my powers are the right color. It's way more important to me. I very much care. See, it's white now. It's supposed to be red. I very much care what the character looks like and what the power effects look like. City of Heroes kind of spoiled me, I think, for that because everything is so customizable that it definitely makes me want it to be right. And so yeah, I'm going to have to go in and play around with that a little bit off screen. Arrest all gang members. So we've got our clues, but now there are a couple of gang members. These guys, however, are just lieutenants and no problem. However, one of the complaints that people made about the Marrow Snap appearance at the beginning of the mission is that the hardest guy is the first guy you walk into and you're maybe not ready for it. And then at the end, the guys that you fight are just lieutenants and they're not that hard. And this is where they said they introduced the idea of what they had invented for the game, but hadn't really, I guess, made explicit to the players, is that some missions are what they call front-loaded. That is to say, the toughest part of the mission, the hardest part of the mission, is up front in the beginning when you first get there. So I've missed some guys because we have to arrest all gang members. I always remember one of my friends, we were talking about defeat all missions, and I said I grumbled about one of them, I guess, that where it was, you know, it was hard to find the guys that the last couple guys I was looking for, and this one supergroup friend of mine said, when I'm playing my brute, all missions are defeat all, right? Because as a brute, you're going up to everybody and fighting them because it makes you stronger, right? So she said, as a brute, all missions are defeat all. I definitely need to get hover at some point, but I realized in the last episode or whenever when I picked my level 12 power, I actually overpicked. I should have gone primary first. It should go primary, secondary. The way I do it is primary, secondary, primary, secondary. And yeah, because I had 3 picked of each, I don't know why I didn't notice that. I should have picked another primary power, but we'll do that when we hit level 14, which probably won't happen in this episode because it's going to be fairly short, but it will happen very soon, and once I do that, we'll rectify it, and we'll probably take build up or whirling hands, unless something else opens up. I don't know if anything will. I think the next power opens up, probably total focus. That should open up at 18, I think, or 16. And now you can see with the red arrows where the last few guys are. So these red arrows are telling you where the last enemies are, so you can it helps you find them. I'll tell you one thing that I wish they would do is help you find so where are these guys? I wish it'd help you find the hostages, because the glowies make noise and the villains in defeat alls little arrows light up, but when you've only got one hostage left to find on a giant outdoor city map, they don't give you any help at all. And there have been times when I've had to just basically abandon those missions because I could not find the last NPC, and I wasn't going to spend another half hour in like a Boomtown map, trying to find that last refugee or hostage or whatever. Okay, so we're on the story arc now, and you can see that from the little book, and we have some clues. I also want to point out, mention souvenirs. When you complete a story arc, you get a souvenir. So we did that Clockwork story arc, and then we get 2 souvenirs for whatever reason from the Superidine ring. This one, which is the main storyline, and then you get this Toothbreaker Jones's jar of teeth. That's sort of weird that it would give you 2. But anyway, so we have 2 of those. The other thing I do want to mention with the interface, right? This little circle here connects the window to the center compass. If you uncheck it, that allows you to move it around. Right? Same thing with like badges. If I uncheck it, I can move it around. If I recheck it, it comes back to center. You'll probably hear me say this more than once, but I think that whoever designed the interface for the user interface for City of Heroes was a genius, and I absolutely love the way this interface works. It's so slick and easy to use, and intuitive to me. Once you learn how to use it, it's just like it works perfectly. It's very slick for its time, and even now, I've never played an MMO before or since with as good of a user interface, and as it was so customizable. They weren't when it first came out, but it's super customizable, and it's just they're having a costume contest, I think. Super customizable and super great, and it's been one of my favorite parts of the game ever since. So, yeah, what a great interface. You can disconnect almost everything and move it around, like this tray. Now, I normally leave it down there, but you can move everything around anywhere you want, right? It's just awesome. All right, so now we're going to Azoria, who runs the sort of magic department for the city. Magi, which stands for Modern Arcane Guild of Investigation. And she's kind of in charge of Magi. And then we have to go to King's Row and defeat the gang leader and his guards. And that's probably all we'll be able to do today, guys. Let's see, do we have enhancements to get rid of? Let's see. Recharge. Yeah, we can go ahead and use that on, let's save that one. So now recharges in 6.8 seconds. Wait, this is a single origin. We have a single origin healing enhancer. That's great. That'll slightly increase our health regeneration. That's what the health inherent power does. It just passively boosts your healing, your self-heal, so you regenerate more every few seconds. But yeah, the user interface of this game is just a thing of beauty. I absolutely love the icons down here. They're so much better. They're so superior, in my view, to the way a lot of MMOs do now, where like a punch click button will be a square flat rather than sort of three-dimensional looking. A square flat picture that looks like a little comic book panel of a tiny little guy punching somebody. And it's so hard to make out, whereas this is nice and clear, right? The big circle is a big hit, the medium circle is a medium hit, the triple circle is like a little damage over time hit. It's just so clear and obvious to you what the power is just from the simplicity of that icon. It's beautiful. And it just makes it so much easier to me to learn things and to know at a glance what's going on and what I'm clicking. I can't say enough good things about the way this user interface was created and designed. The designer did a great job. Oh, you know what I haven't done? Hang on, I do need to do that. It's not super critical right now with our attacks, but it may be if we get some long recharge powers. There is a way in the interface, and I won't pause it now, I'll show you how to do it, I believe there is a way to get the timer to show up. And I got to try to remember how that works. Like where it is. So let me pause it here. I'll find it for you, and then so that you don't have to wait and watch me looking for it, and then I'll show you where it is. Okay, under Windows, it says Power Recharge Indicators. And we're going to put it in the center, right? And so that when you use a power and it recharges, it should tell us how much time we have left before it recharges so we can actually see it. It's mostly useful for long recharge things, like if you have a defense click that recharges every 2.5 minutes, it's useful to know when it's going to be recharged. That's the other thing I really like about this. A lot of the user interfaces, they have a square icon. The image is full color. When you click it, it fades a little bit. And then there's like a little clock circle that goes around that fills the color back in. But with City of Heroes, the icon shrinks down to small and then fills up, and then it flashes when it comes back full. And I really like that. So let's see what we have here. Yep, so that's showing the amount of time it takes. And I really like that. That was not available in live, and is something that I think the Homecoming guys created, if I'm not mistaken. Rebirth also had it as well. I don't think you could put it at the top or bottom on Rebirth. I think it only appeared in the center. There we go. So hopefully that helps anybody who's looking for that as one of their options. Again, it's in the Windows tab under the options. Man, those guys, sometimes when they fall like that, it sounds like Liberty Lass is killing them. No, she's not. She's not killing anybody. She just arrests you. Capture only. Knocks unconscious only. We're getting ambushed, it looks like. Or is that a boss just standing there waiting for us and pontificating to his minions? So you can see there 15 seconds to recharge that one. And so what happens is when it goes below 10 seconds, you start getting tenths of a second. And there's another boss. So let's go ahead and buff up. I usually hit the minion first because it takes him out. And then you're only fighting one guy. The only exception to that would be if you're using a power set that has powers that make you more powerful by having more enemies around you, such as the invincibility power in invulnerability. You get +5 defense or something for every enemy around you. Then you want to have minions standing next to you while you are fighting bosses. And this is new compared to the way the Bonefire mission used to be. Bonefire arc, because this NPC ally did not used to be here. What's going on? For a second there, the controls were not responding to me. So now she's going to come with us and try to help us, which I'd rather she didn't, because the NPCs tend to be really dumb and not manage their aggro properly. But she shouldn't be able to cause too much trouble. These guys like dancing to the music. So we don't particularly need her. We defeated the gang leader, I believe. Oh, but there's somebody else. Okay. So she's a controller, which means she can mez the enemies. And there is everybody. And we've completed that mission. And let's head on out. Oh, we are very close to level 13. Let's see if we can find some enemies to fight over in maybe Skyway City or Steel Canyon, with the goal of just hitting level 14 and then we will finish out the episode. The reason I'm not trying to take another mission is that I don't think we'll have time to do a long one, and there's no way to guarantee that the next mission won't be fairly long. So we will wait on doing another mission for Lorenzo until the next episode. I hope you guys got the info you need for things like making the combat stats appear. I hope that that was helpful to you, and also if you like knowing what the recharge timers on all your powers are in actual seconds and tenths of a second, I've shown you how you can do that now as well. Oh, there's an event going on here. So I think I'm going to go to Skyway City instead. As I said, you see all the screen shaking? I hate that. It really bothers me. It almost gives me like vertigo when they do that. I don't know if there's any way. I looked. I did not see any way in the interface to turn off the screen shake. If anybody knows which tab it's under, please let me know where, and I'll go do it and turn it off, and then I won't mind being in places like that. But I don't do screen shake. I remember when I used to play Star Wars Galaxies, and fighting big things like Fombas and stuff that are like the dinosaur things the Gungans used to ride. I used to hate it because it would screen shake everything, and enough people complained about it that they actually put in the option to turn it off. And I remember saying, like, as soon as they put it in, I'm like, that's it, I'm taking it off. And a bunch of my friends are like, why? It's kind of cool. I'm like, no, the screen shaking kind of just makes me feel like I have vertigo. I don't like it. And another one of my friends, his girlfriend, fiance, I guess, was playing this game with us, and she had to stop. She was fine on the outdoor missions, but the indoor missions gave her, made her dizzy because, like, the rooms were so close, and you're, like, rotating the camera so fast to turn around the bends and stuff, to turn around the hallways, and it just gave her, like, this weird sense of, I don't know, vertigo or whatever. He said she was getting, like, sick to her stomach. So, these guys, white cons, yeah, here, this is good. Oh, we got a boss. Okay, well. Start with the white con. You're just making my fury go up, guys. So those things, that stone thing that surrounded me, that's an attempt to mez me. That didn't work because I have mez defense. Now, I might get killed here because running out of health. But what happens is, so when you take them down, yes, the boss does more damage, but he's just one guy. And I should be able to hold my own against him. Let's see. Knock him back. That's what we want. So that mezzes him. I'm not going to be able to stun him, but you can see that, I know, you saw the health bar go down. Did you think that I wasn't going to make it? It might not have, like, it's possible. But, I was pretty sure that this character would be able to handle, as a brute, would be able to handle that. So, another little bit of information for new players. This little thing is the superhero base portal. So if your character has a superhero base, you can click on this and go into it. If your character has the password to an allied base, a different, a friend of yours or whatever, you can click on it and go into their base. That's not the level up guy. I always think he is, but he's not. Minx is the leveler upper. Train to a new level of power, and we're going to take, we don't have total focus. We want to have whirling hands or build up. Oh gosh, I want both. I would love another attack so that we have, like, a closed attack chain. But on the other hand, build up will make all of our attacks better. I'm so torn, and I want to get hover. Too many powers, not enough levels. I think I'm going to go whirling hands. I want the next attack. And is there anything we can put into it? So defense buff, can't use that. That's a resistance buff. Okay. So that'll buff our resistance from 16 to 18%. And we can put, what is that, heal? Go ahead and put that there. And this is increased stun. This is increased stun duration. Why not? Right? I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. These are just, and throwaway enhancements until we get to level 22 and get SOs. I think we'll stop there, guys. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope the little bit of information I've been able to give out this episode was informative. Again, if you have any questions about how things work, or especially if you want me to demonstrate how to do something in game, please let me know, and I will be happy to do it, assuming I know how to do it. Right? And again, don't ask for incarnate trial stuff. I don't do that. But and plus we're too low level anyway. But if you got stuff that you want me to do, if you want me to show you how to find shops or whatever it is that you need help with, let me know, and I'll be happy to put that into one of my videos in the near future. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes on the Homecoming servers.